Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode we're working on the brake system. I've already gone ahead and I've cleaned up the brake booster and the master cylinder and reinstalled that on the car, but actually it was quite tricky because since I installed the engine first, there wasn't that much room to work with that brake booster. The booster that I have, it's from a DA, so this is a lot fatter. I had to remove that clevis so I could actually slide in the booster first, and then once I got the booster in, I had to go from the inside of the car, put that clevis back in, put that cotter pin in, and install that. Lines are all ready, and I also got my proportioning valve in there. That is the same one that is stock on pretty much any Honda between 96 and 2000. That'll work with this conversion. It was a pain in the ass just to put in that proportioning valve. Managed to get it in, a little bit difficult because I think the POR was kind of getting in the threading, and I didn't retap that, but luckily I managed to get that in there. I would probably install lines first, then drop in your engine. Pretty much everyone does it. I did things backwards. You know, didn't work smarter, but harder. I picked up a 25-foot roll from Amazon of some copper nickel brake line and fittings. This will go to the back end of the vehicle. I also got some brake lines here for the front end. I got two 30-inch pieces and two 60-inch pieces. Most of the brake lines were pretty rusted out that I can't even reuse them to recopy the template or the bends and everything in them. Pretty much with the rears, I had to toss those. I did keep a couple with the front end for the prop valve to the master cylinder, which I'll replicate first, and then we'll start working on the back end. To make this easier, take off the front bumper, take off the side front fenders, just so you're not bending any of that sheet metal by leaning over into it when you're working. Here's my old proportioning valve. This is how it mounts onto the car. If we're to figure out where the hard lines are going, this left side right there goes to the top channel on the master cylinder. This right side channel right there goes to the side channel on the master cylinder. The top left, top right go to the front end of the vehicle, and the two channels here in the middle go to the rears. Alright, I got the first one connected to the master cylinder. I use this bender tool I got from Canadian Tire. It's about 19 bucks. Working with the metal line for the front end, it's been a little bit difficult, but still manageable. It's taken some time to get that first one in. The material itself is a little harder to form if you do use your hands, but obviously try your best not to kink that line or else it's done. What I like to do is just envision that pipe right there is perfectly in line with that channel. And then when I do my bend, which I need to go actually to the front here, I make sure that the angle of my bend is pointing in the direction, so the handle kind of guides me. And I need that basically to be a perfect 90 degree from that fitting so I can have that bend be a lot more cleaner. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's actually helped me avoid just wasting line by doing a wrong bend the wrong way. This is really tedious and you can make an easy mistake, and you may toss this in the end just because of that simple bend that you can't get back out. So this one is going not too bad so far. A little bit easier than the other one since I have a lot more opening and space here. I'm gonna finish this up right here and get this part in here. I have a little plastic piece still in here that protects that line. Little by little, it takes a little while, but it's actually pretty fun. so finished flaring the passenger side. I can go ahead now and finally put this in. Passenger side all done up, and there is a tab right here that I'll install that'll just keep this from vibrating around and potentially wearing that metal line. As well, I have about an inch, maybe an inch and a half right here where it'll connect to the hydraulic hose. I'll just bend it a little bit in here to kind of shorten that up so it'll sit perfectly right there. But other than that, the passenger side is now done. I'm gonna move on to the driver's side. Third one down is the driver's side. Getting pretty decent at this double flare business. So, I'm just working on the final one from the one channel to the master cylinder. I got a little scrap piece here. I haven't done everything perfect each time. I have broken some just by just screwing up with the bend, and I couldn't use them anymore. I couldn't bend them back. So luckily I had a piece left over from the driver's side, so I'm gonna go ahead and bend that and hopefully not screw this up, because this is the last piece and it is late at night that I won't be able to get this until tomorrow. 2:51 in the morning right now, and the brake lines are done for the fronts and for the master cylinder hookup. Gotta say, this took a long time and it was rather stressful, especially because the engine really slowed it down just because it's in the way, right? So other than that, it's looking pretty decent in my opinion. The two rears, they'll run straight down in this channel right here against the firewall. We'll run that straight down to the back nicely. It'll be easier to do. These metal lines were actually nice to work with at the same time, because if I did want to bend it by hand a bit, I could go ahead and do that. Just finished up right now with that copper line, the copper nickel line. 1,000 times better. If I had the opportunity to start all over, I would with that and just get like 2 rolls of 25-foot rolls. It was so easy to handle by hand. I still did use that tool to do some bends, but I honestly could have done them carefully if I wanted to, like a nice 90 degree without damaging or cracking or bending that line or kinking it. Man, that was awesome. I may redo one of these passenger lines. It would probably be this one on the driver's side. I'm not really happy with it in there. I feel like this is just way too close to the motor itself, even though I still can tuck it in a bit, but I'm just not too happy with the way that this line is sitting. But all in all, this was a learning experience and a good one for myself. Flaring was actually not too bad in the end. Once I started doing it more, I got a lot better at it. I practiced a little bit on some one of those original 60-inch pieces. I knew it was going to be a little bit shorter, so I did a couple practice runs, like just take off an inch and do a flare, take off an inch, do a flare, until I was happy with the process of how I was doing it. Now it's done, and I'm happy to have it done. Obviously next is the fuel lines, and that'll be a little bit of a challenge as well, but there is still a lot of room underneath here to work with. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching today's episode. I hope you did enjoy it. As always, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys later.